The number one thing that gets people into arguments, and the number one thing that makes things better with people is communication. Our first thought is how other people can get this stuff. We want people to change their communication. We want our communication changed, but what we tend to do is this. I want our things to change, I want our communication to change, but I want someone else to change. I don't want to be the one who has to do it. It makes a lot of sense. If it's taken a long time for something to happen, it's going to take a long time for something to change. It's taken your whole life to be where you are right now, but if you dedicate yourself to changing it, if you take the responsibility for how you communicate instead of putting it on other people, then the journey back out is not as far as it was in. Remember, this whole deal, what we're talking about here today is communication. How can we effectively communicate with each other? And when we shut people down from the moment we interact, we already have them shut down. They're already not listening. Sometimes it means we have to put our immediate need to be right, to be heard on hold, connect with the person, and once a person feels validated, feels listened to, he or she is much more likely to then listen to what you have to say. There's a difference about talking just to talk and actually communicating. Actually getting people to hear what you have to say. The analogy is this. You can get on. The term soapbox came because in the marketplaces they would literally turn over soapboxes and they would stand up on them so they could be elevated. And they could talk down to the people and they could preach at the people. Listen to that, preach at the people. I'll tell you how it is. You just sit there and take it. You listen to it. I've got the answers, you don't. Now that sounds well and good for the person up on the soapbox, but that doesn't sound real good for the people who have to just sit there and just listen. If you ultimately want to be heard, here's the challenge. Do we want to talk just to talk, or do we want to talk so that we can actually be heard?